Shakshuka is a Middle Eastern dish that is often served for breakfast in Israel and surrounding Arab countries. It originated in North Africa and Tunisia. And it's basically, the word shakshuka means all mixed up. So it's a combination, it's a hearty meal that Israelis like to start off their day with. It's a tomato, pepper, and onion sauce in which you fry your eggs in the same pan. And before you serve it, you top it with goat cheese and fresh herbs. Traditionally, it is served in a pan that it is cooked in. It makes a very nice presentation. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the sauce. So I am going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil on medium heat. That's 1, 2. Okay. The oil's going to heat up. And what I'm going to add to the oil is I'm going to add a cup of diced onions. Spoon here. Diced onions, and I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of diced sweet peppers. And somewhere here's my garlic, and then I'm going to add 2 minced cloves of garlic. You're just going to saute them in the pan until they get a little bit fragrant. Smells good in here. Sorry you guys are virtual. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to add is some diced tomatoes. So you can either add fresh tomatoes that you can dice yourself, or you can add a can of already diced tomatoes. So today I have 1 can of already diced tomatoes right here. Put it in my pan. Okay. I'm just going to mix it all up, and I'm going to let the mixture cook for a couple of minutes. I want to show you, well, this is cooking. Okay, so if you're using fresh tomatoes, you're going to have to peel them, and I'm going to show you a trick. Let's move this over here so you can see me. That I learned for peeling fresh tomatoes. I had a knife. Oh, all the knives are over here. Okay. So this one I already peeled. So what you do is you take a pot of water and you bring it to a boil. You take your tomato and you put it in the boiling water for a minute. You take it out of the boiling water and you run it under cold water. Then when the tomato is cooled, you just cut out the top of the tomato. There we go. And you can see that this one here cooperated and the entire tomato was peeled, and then I can just dice it. Okay, so let's get back over to our sauce. So it's cooking up nicely. There we go. The next thing that I'm going to add to it is tomato paste and a spice mixture. The tomato paste is going to thicken it up and give it a little bit of a sweet flavor. Here's my tomato paste. Got 3 tablespoons of tomato paste in here. All right. Tomato paste thickens it up really fast. All right. And lastly, I'm going to add the spices before I go add my eggs. So I have this spice mixture that I've already mixed together. And in here is cumin, smoked paprika. Smoked paprika is a really interesting spice. If you don't have it, you can use regular paprika, but it adds this kind of earthy flavor to a dish. On its own, it kind of smells very strong, but then when you add it, it just adds this interesting ethnic flavor to your food. I've also added crushed red pepper. Now, if you don't like your food spicy, don't add it to your spice mixture. And then there's also black pepper in here. So I'm going to add my spice mixture. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay. There. Okay. Wow, that is smelling really good. So once this is all melded together nicely, I'm going to make some wells in my sauce, and I'm going to fry my eggs right in the sauce. I think for today, I'm just going to do 2 eggs just to show you, how this works. Normally, for this amount of sauce, I would do 4 eggs, and it would serve 2 people. So I'm going to make a couple of wells in my sauce, and I'm going to add my eggs. Let's see if I can do this without breaking the yolk. Or getting shell in there, that would be bad too. Okay, let's see what we got here. And that was one. And we're gonna do one more. There we go. That was good. I'm gonna turn the heat up. And I have a lid for this, but I'm not really quite sure where it is. Ah, there it is. I love this. Okay, so you want to partially cover it, and it takes about 2 minutes to get it so that the egg whites are cooked through, but the yolks are still runny. It's a personal preference how much you like your eggs cooked. I like my eggs really runny, so I do mine a little bit less. So make sure that I got my nice high temperature, and you want to make sure that the lid is only partially covered, because otherwise there'll be moisture that'll go back in on your eggs and make them look. And the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to top the shakshuka with some goat cheese. You can use goat cheese or you can use feta cheese, whatever your preference is. Both cheeses are used in Middle Eastern cooking, and fresh herbs. So I have fresh parsley here, but you can also use cilantro if you like. So I like to grow my herbs in pots. I can pick some fresh herbs whenever I need them. So for instance, over here, I've got my parsley growing. So this way, whenever you need a fresh herb, you can just pluck off some leaves. And because it's in a small pot, I can put it outside when the weather's nice, or I can bring it into my house and put it in the sun by a window when it's cold. So most of the time, you only need a little bit of fresh herbs. So it really is helpful to grow your own and have it, because all your dishes that have a fresh herb, it just makes them pop. Okay, so let's take a look at our eggs. And it looks like our eggs are done. Sprinkle it with some goat cheese. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of parsley on top. And you have a hearty, healthy breakfast brunch food.